I joined a game jam. It was quite a lot of fun, actually. I learned quite a bit of things, like how to make a non functioning swimming mechanic, a pickup mechanic, and how post processing is all you really need to make a game look good enough. And in case you're wondering, yes, I've been sick for the last few days, but I'm slowly recovering. And yeah, I'm aware that this video has not been uploaded on a Thursday. I'm making up for missing last week's video, and I need this video out in time for the submissions deadline. Now, I don't have much experience in Unity 3D. I usually stick with my 2D projects because that is what I know the best. Although, because of my multiplayer game I'm working on, I had already made a movement script and I just plagiarized myself. I then created a terrain using the terrain tool, and I realized that a single chunk of terrain is a lot larger than I thought it was. I then added a plane that has no collision on it and created a transparent blue material and applied it. That was my water, although it really just looked like doo-doo and I needed to revise it later. When you would walk through it, it didn't even make a difference in your movement, so I knew I would need to make a swim script too. Then I had to figure out what the game was going to be. Did I want it to be a rush game where you had to pick up so much in a certain time frame? But that didn't seem right because there'd still be so much trash in the ocean. What if I made it so the player won when they picked up half the trash, because 1,000 pieces of trash is quite a lot, especially when there isn't much to incentivize playing. But even then, the issue still stands that there's still so much trash in the ocean. Maybe on different milestones like 250, 500, 750 trash picked up, you get tools that help you clean faster. Like maybe at 250 you get extended reach, and at 500 you get a vacuum that sucks everything up in the vicinity. And at 750 you get a little circle telling you where the nearest trash is. I don't know. I definitely could do that since I have a whole month to do this project. What? Well, I didn't. Instead, I spent the entire time trying to perfect the post-processing, the lighting, and the other visuals. I decided to go with just a general trash collection even though it was quite boring. I created a very few low poly models in Blender since I knew that having 1,000 objects in a scene probably wouldn't be very nice to my graphics card. So for all the trashes, I created Boca Bola cans, Boca Bola bottles, Danny, these 6-pack rings, and these tires. I had to learn how to UV edit, and that made applying textures a breeze. And in case you were wondering, everything here is handmade, so I created the textures by hand using Affinity Designer. I wanted to create an outline effect so I knew when I was looking at something that can be picked up. Using the raycast function from my other game, I tested to see if the player had a raycast hitting from the center of the camera to about 20 units away. After that, I followed a tutorial on how to create an outline in Unity using shaders. Now, this looked really good, and if I was going to stay with the default Unity renderer, I would leave it. But I wanted to use URP, or Universal Render Pipeline, mainly because the water effect I wanted only worked with URP. So that caused a lot of conflict. I tried following tutorials to learn how to convert it into URP, but I had zero luck with getting it working. And if I did get it working, the objects just looked really gross because of the lighting. If I knew shaders better, I would probably have just fixed it just fine, but I had no idea what I was doing. I then just gave up and downloaded an outline asset from the asset store. It's not perfect, but it works quite alright. I'll provide a tutorial on how to pick up objects next Thursday. Then I created a popping sound with my mouth and added some neat particles with trails using Unity's particle system. I then needed to figure out a way for the trash to spawn in random areas on the map, so I didn't have to place 1,000 spawn points manually. So I created an empty game object and added a script to it called spawn trash. In that script, I referenced two arrays, the first being the corners of the spawn areas and the second being the different types of trash to spawn. I created 4 empty game objects, although I probably only needed 3, and I put them in each corner that I would want the trash to stay contained in. I then added those corners to an array, and after that, I added my trash prefabs to the trash array. Going back to the script, I needed to set a limit on how much trash I wanted to spawn. So I created a public integer called trash count, and I set that to 500 in the inspector. I then kind of wanted to see how far I could push my game, so I cranked it up to 1,000, and it seemed just fine. My FPS was doing okay, but my computer wasn't smelling like smoke. So I turned it up to 5,000. That is one messy beach. I then turned it up to 10,000, but let's just say I lost footage on that one. The water definitely needs to be fixed, like bad. As mentioned earlier, I downloaded a water shader from Unity's asset store and plopped it right into my game. And it looks quite a lot better. Like, it fades to green and I can add waves and customize the shore foam. To be honest, I can't believe that this one is free. Then I added buoyancy to a few objects, but not the tire or the milk, and I made it so it slowly goes up, and once it exits the water, I put the y-axis on a sine wave relative to the time.delta time, which is just time that has passed as a value, and it bobs up, bobs up and down. It's time to do what I've been dreading, and that's creating a swim mechanic. Now, I know nothing about how to create a swim mechanic. I am clueless on how I would even try to make it so the player moves in the direction of the cursor. Not only the X position, but also the Y position. So I added a workaround where you can press space to swim up and left control to swim down, and it works okay. My next task was to create some music, and thanks to YouTube, a bit of music theory, and my awesome music teacher girlfriend, I created a small 30-second loopable track to insert into my project. I'm pretty impressed with myself, to be honest. Here, take a listen. After that, I created a title screen and the ability to remove post-processing, and everything kind of works now. I also made it so you get a little secret if you collect all the pieces. But, of course, in my playthrough here, the invisible barrier stopped me from reaching those last few pieces of trash. But I won't torture you into playing my game to figure out what the secret reward is. It's really just a big bottle of gilded milk, but very cool. If you couldn't tell, this is the first video I wrote a script for. I realize that 2 pages of script is not enough for a 10-minute video, but we all learn somehow. If you want to play Murky Waters, you can play it for free at itch.io. The link is in the description. Any money donated will go to the hashtag Team C's fundraiser. Also, I urge you to go subscribe to both Polymars and Bargy if you haven't already. If you like I can't speak. If you like content similar to this, be sure to like and subscribe. I've been trying to reach 100 subscribers before the end of the year, and I'm hoping that is a reasonable goal. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.